Have the Bulls fixed their issues following their big-time win versus the Utah Jazz? That is what is in store for you guys today on today's edition of the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman. Welcome in. The Bulls do get a blowout victory over the Utah Jazz on Monday night. And listen, if I had to call a spade here, I felt like this game was more about the Jazz playing bad than it was the Bulls playing well. So if you guys weren't watching the game, listen, pretty much to sum up the entire night, the Jazz, I thought at a point the Jazz were going to break the record for the most turnovers in an NBA basketball game. And listen, a win is a win in that NBA. Like, anytime you can stack wins, especially the Bulls, they're coming off a 3-game losing streak, just lost to 3 straight Western Conference opponents. So it's nice to get the win under their belt. But, man, the Jazz at a point in the first half had 19 turnovers. And the Bulls, honestly, credit to them. The Bulls, actually this year, if there's one positive of this Bulls team, they actually take care of the basketball pretty dang well. And that was kind of my biggest takeaway, was the turnover differential. Like, the Jazz turned it over almost 30 times tonight. The Bulls, I believe, they'll probably finish this game turning it over about 7 or 8 times. So that was the biggest takeaway. The Jazz just continuously turned the ball over. But the Bulls definitely took advantage. And listen, 3-point shooting tonight was also a big storyline. Like, the Bulls actually shot the ball from deep very well. And it was actually the first half when the Bulls really started to get it going. But right now, points off turnovers to wrap up this game, the Bulls had 30 points off turnovers. The Jazz had 1. You're going to win most of your games when you can turn the other team over and you don't turn the ball over yourself. You're going to win a lot of games. But the question being, did the Bulls fix their issues after the game versus the Jazz? I still think the answer is no. Listen, the Jazz aren't a good basketball team. Like, I'm watching guys like Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton. Like, they really only have 2 players I like, and that's Lauri Markkanen, former Bull, shout out to Lauri, and probably Walker Kessler. I like Walker Kessler as well, but, I mean, listen, the Jazz are a bad basketball team. They're 2-5 coming into tonight, and they really lived up to that 2-5 record. I just think this game had a lot more to say about the Jazz than it did the Bulls. The Bulls still on offense a lot of times during this game. They just went back to that ISO ball where it was like LaVine, DeRozan's turn. They would just switch off back and forth. And yes, the Bulls did get a big time win. I'm not trying to discredit that. But question being, did they fix their issues tonight? Probably not. Like, they still looked like the same team. Pretty much if you wanted to like sum this game up, 2 sentences, right? The Bulls made their threes. They're going to end up shooting around 50% from downtown, hit about 16 or 17 of them. What did the Jazz do? I thought at a point the Jazz were going to set the record for the most turnovers in an NBA basketball game. Like, that's just kind of what happened. Yeah, the Jazz are not a good basketball team. That was my biggest takeaway. Did the Bulls fix any of their issues? I probably am going to have to say no on that one. But listen, I mean, they did play well. So, listen, you got the Suns coming into town on Wednesday. That's a great kind of litmus test. Like, that's a great kind of like, all right, let's see how we did here. Let's see if we can carry on what we did against the Jazz. Can we have that translate to a real basketball team in the Phoenix Suns? That's a question the Bulls are going to need to answer. I will say offensively, the one thing I did like, they really stopped running their offense through Vucvic tonight. I thought that was a great call. But listen, because I'm just not the biggest fan of when they run the offense through Vucvic. I know some Bulls fans really like it, but listen, guys, it's not 1980 anymore. Like, you can't run your offense through a back-to-the-basket big. I honestly like the Bulls' offense the most when it's free-flowing and it's kind of just like you're not throwing the ball to DeMar in the low block. You're not giving LaVine countless pick and rolls at Vucvic. You're not throwing the ball to Vucvic in the low block. Have him be more free-flowing. I think that's when the Bulls are, really at their best, is when the offense is just, free and just everybody's moving, but the Bulls just still tonight, like, even when they're playing good basketball and they're hitting threes, like, man, they just kind of fall back to their same bad habits that they've had for the last 3 seasons with this big 3. So overall, it's a good victory tonight, but kind of feels like the Jazz just kind of lost that game. You know what I mean? Like, feels good. I love it, but kind of felt like the Jazz just kind of lost that game a little bit. I'll be giving you guys more thoughts on the game and just kind of talking about the future for the Bulls because, listen, there are a ton of trade rumors around Zach LaVine, DeMar if the Bulls continue to lose games. But make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're going to be having watch parties all year long, so make sure you guys do tune in, subscribe, help me out. Hey, also, we're a company here at Chat Sports. If you guys want to make me look good for my bosses, hey, hit that sub button. We're closing in on actually 5,000 subscribers here on the Bulls Report. I would absolutely love if we could hit that off this video. If you guys haven't already, I would really appreciate it. Go down there, hit that subscribe button. Also, let me know your thoughts on the Chicago Bulls. We'll get to more thoughts here about the Bulls-Jazz game and just the Bulls as a whole here in a second. But I do got to give a huge shout-out to Prize Picks, today's sponsor of our post-game show, Prize Picks. Prize Picks, it's daily fantasy made easy. It's simple, guys. All you got to do is pick 2 or more players, and then you choose more or less on their projected stat types, and you guys can start winning some serious cash. Prize Picks, it makes the game so much more interesting. Anytime you have a game that may be a little boring and you want to add some extra juice, hop on Prize Picks. I mean, they even make the blowout games interesting because you're still tracking these players, tracking their projected stat types. Will they go more? Will they go less? It is a ton of fun. I love using Prize Picks, especially during the NBA regular season. Like, it is a ton of fun. I promise you, you guys won't regret it. But if you guys do get hooked up with Prize Picks, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. And if you guys use the code CLNS, they'll actually match your first deposit up to $100. You guys can get $100 free to play. So make sure you guys do it at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS. But final thoughts here coming off the Bulls-Jazz game. They had a season high, 130 points on the night. They made 18 three-pointers. Offense, they look good. They hit shots, but you still found, like, in key spots of the game when the Jazz were going on a run and the Bulls needed a bucket, they kind of reverted back to their old selves. So it's like, yeah, we'll get the ball to DeMar and LaVine in the post, and they can create a shot, and the Bulls hit them today. But can they do that consistently? I just really don't think so. And that was the biggest concern tonight. It was just like they played well, but they still looked like their old selves. Like, listen, the Bulls were 40-42 last year. It's not like the Bulls won 20 games and the way they play just couldn't win ball games. But this is the problem with the Bulls. You're going to beat teams like the Jazz. Okay? You're going to be able to stack wins like that because they do have talent on this roster, but I just am really concerned. And I'm kind of scared that when the NBA trade deadline rolls around, that the Bulls could possibly be around 500, and they're going to think, let's just go on a run. If we just go on a run, we'll be good. And I think that would be the worst thing that could happen for this franchise if they don't clear ship at the NBA trade deadline. And that's why I kind of want to kick into this question. Should the Bulls trade Zach LaVine? Pretty much, should the Bulls be buyers or sellers at the NBA trade deadline? I got to ask you guys, give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comments section. I'm kind of in the camp. They should blow it up. Even if you're 500, I just think the max potential of this team is a first-round playoff exit. That is the max potential. Go get some young talent. Go get some draft capital. Blow this roster up. Because even after a 20-point victory against the Western Conference opponent, still the same old Bulls. Like, they didn't really change anything. They didn't really change their MO. Just felt like the same old team. It's just today, they hit shots and the Jazz didn't. So I'll be probably typing my T for trades. But if you guys disagree with me, obviously, you guys let me know down in the comments section. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today's edition of the Bulls Report. Did the Bulls fix their issues against the Utah Jazz? I say no. But if you guys disagree with me, obviously comment down below. And then obviously you guys can also give me a follow on Twitter for more Bulls content all year long. Thank you guys so much for watching today's show. See y'all next time. As always, go frickin' Bulls, baby.